WhatsApp, Prabhuji.
No problems. What's important is you're here, and we are so blessed to have you join the class. Thank you so much. Okay, today we will continue the class, Draupadi Swayamvara. Okay, but before we proceed further, I just wanted to share with you the meaning, the deeper meaning of Swayamvara. Okay, as we all know, Sanskrit, they put many words, compounds together and form to become one word. So basically, the two big components of the word Swayamvara, first part is Swayam. Swayam means by oneself. Okay, by oneself. And then Vara means choice or boon of the groom or the husband. So when you say Swayamvara, you choose by yourself the groom or the husband. So the very meaning of Swayamvara means the lady has a choice of who the husband will be. Okay, choosing one's own groom. So this tradition, okay, Swayamvara, it was a ceremony, it was grandly held where a princess, okay, or a lady of high standing would choose her husband from among a gathering of eligible suitors. So people will come and they'll want to seek a hand at marriage, and then the bride-to-be will choose who she wants. So the suitors were either very powerful kings, princes, or warriors who were invited by the kingdom where the Swayamvara was going to be held. And in many cases, the Swayamvara included a contest, a competition of strength and knowledge. So like Draupadi's Swayamvar, it was the test where the person, the eligible person, had to string a mighty bow and shoot at a rotating target. Okay? Then at the conclusion, if the bride-to-be is satisfied that this person has actually won the competition in a fair manner, she will then take a garland and put the garland over that person, the Varmala, to say that, okay, I've agreed to choose you to be my husband. So what this is emphasizing to us also is this wrong information that women were forced to marry husbands is man-created, okay? From the longest time, from thousands of years ago, when we see our scriptures, there's Swayamvar. The lady chooses. She has 100% choice. That's the meaning of Swayam. By your own self, you choose your husband. So there's no such thing as forced marriage. All this bad information, wrong information is imposed on our culture and make us feel small. Our culture is very strong, very powerful, and very dharmic, very correct, righteous. There's no such forcing. So if this is good information that you have, just look at the word, you can understand straight away. So what's the meaning of Swayamvara? Choice, the person chooses. Okay, so now we will continue with the class. So the Pandavas, as you know, in our last class, they left Ekachakra because they didn't want to be identified. So a quick revision. The Pandavas, after Bhima destroyed the Asura, they realized they had to leave. Otherwise, their identity as disguised Brahmanas would be found out. So they left. Okay? They said goodbye to the Brahmana host. And then on their way, they were not sure which direction to go. And then, by providence, of course, Vyasadeva was there to guide them along. And he told them, look, there's a very important Swayamvara happening in Panchala. The king of Panchal, Draupadi, he wants to get his daughter married. His daughter's name is Draupadi. So you please go and witness the Swayamvar. Okay? So they went. They went to Panchala. So Draupadi also told them, if you recall, that Vyasa also told them that Draupadi was born to be the reason of the destruction of the Kauvaras. At that time, the Pandavas didn't understand what Vyasa meant, but Vyasa told them anyway. She's such a powerful person that she will be the cause of the destruction of the Kauvaras. So the Pandavas took advice from Vyasadeva and they went and attended the Swayamvar and set course their journey to Panchal. Okay, so at the Swayamvara, King Draupadi had set up the Swayamvara to contest for Draupadi to choose a husband from a competitive contest. Okay, the test was to lift a very heavy bow and to string it. And not only to string that very heavy and powerful bow, to look at the reflection in the water and to shoot a golden fish, not a real fish, but a gold-plated figurine of a fish which was in the ceiling, only by looking at a reflection in the water. So it was a very difficult competition. So many people tried their hand at winning this competition. Okay, amongst those who were present was our famous Duryodhan, and along with Karan and Duryodhan's brother Dushashan. So they were all three there. Okay. Shri Krishna was also present with his brother Balaram as observers. Why? Because Lord Krishna and Balaram, they were good friends of King Draupadi. At that time, Lord Krishna was the king of Dwarka. So they were like fellow kings. So he went to visit his friend in Panchal and witnessed the proceedings. Okay. So the Pandavas, they were also present, but they were disguised as Brahmanas. Everybody thought that they were just a group of Brahmanas who had come to attend. Okay. They didn't know who they were. Neither did anyone know except two people, Vidur and grandfather Bhishma. Okay, they knew that the Pandavas were alive, but nobody else knew. Okay, no, they were in disguise as Brahmanas. So the competition for Draupadi's hand. So Draupadi's father made an announcement of how the competition was to take place, and Draupadi's father also had a very strong liking for Arjun, because many years before that, as part of Dronacharya's Guru Diksha, okay? Dronacharya, if you call, I remember telling you the story, but I'll tell you again because it's a very nice story. So Dronacharya had taught the Kauvaras and the Pandavas the art of warfare, etc., etc. Then when the Pandavas and the Kauvaras said, what can we do for you, Guruji? So then Dronacharya told them, look, a long time ago, King Draupadi insulted me very badly. So now I want you to go and conquer him, take over his kingdom. And after you take over his kingdom, I will graciously give back half of the kingdom back to him. Okay? And I will make my son the king of the other half. So straight away, Duryodhan and Karan and Dushashan, they said, we will do it. No problem, Guruji, we will do it. And they rushed off to Draupadi's kingdom with their army, and they were badly defeated by King Draupadi. So they came back battle weary, they lost the battle. Then Dronacharya was disappointed. Then Yudhishthir spoke up. Guruji, if you don't mind, I will discuss this with my brothers, how we should carry out the attack on Draupadi's kingdom. And please allow us to follow up on this journey to do this Guru Dakshina for you. So Dronacharya said, surely, go ahead, plan your battle. So they did their planning, and then they went and attacked Draupadi. And Arjun was one of the fighters. And Draupadi lost his kingdom to the Pandavas. And that's exactly what happened. Draupadi lost the kingdom to the Pandavas. The Pandavas then handed over the Guru Dakshina to Dronacharya. Dronacharya gave back half the kingdom to King Draupadi, and the other half he gave it to his son. Who was his son? Can you recall? Who was Dronacharya's son?
Ashwatthama.
Ashwatthama. So now Ashwatthama became a king on his own. Okay? So Draupadi at that time had admiration for what a hero, although he lost the battle, he remembered what a good warrior Arjun was. So although Arjun had conquered his kingdom, he was fond of Arjuna. And he secretly hoped that Arjuna would be the one who would win her daughter's hand. But of course, the legend was the Pandavas had been killed in the fire. So it was a wish that could not be fulfilled. So he made the competition so difficult, such that only a person like Arjun could be the winner of this competition. Such a difficult competition was created. Okay, impossible for anyone except someone like Arjun to fulfill this. Drishtadyumna was Draupadi's brother, twin brother. He announced that whoever can string the bow and pierce the eye of the fish would qualify to marry Draupadi. At the end of the day, Draupadi decides. But if you can do this, if you can achieve that part of the competition, you qualify. All right? So having spoken thus, the prince, Drishtadyumna, he recited to his sister the names of the royal guests who has come to participate in the competition. Their lineage, their deeds of fame. It's like your biography, okay? So and so served, so and so, he did this and that. So all the deeds of fame. And he bade her award the golden garland, the Varmala, to the successful archer of her choice. So Karan was one of them. But here, Draupadi speaks up against accepting Karan. So as the day passed, many of the kings took part. They couldn't do it. Duryodhan tried, he couldn't do it. Dushashan tried, he couldn't do it. No one was able to get this done. So Duryodhan, he didn't want to go back embarrassed. He then asked Karan, you try. Karan, of course, we all know, was an equally able archer and a warrior, just like Arjun. Okay, he was the best archer along with Arjun, and he could easily lift the bow. It appeared that he would achieve the condition which King Draupada had set forth in winning her daughter. Draupada and his son were alarmed. They were getting worried. Is Karan the one who is going to be the only one who can achieve this difficult task? Okay. Suddenly, Draupadi got up. She spoke very firmly. And this is in the Mahabharata, okay? I will not wed Karan. Very strong words. So before Karan could even lift the bow, string it, and try to shoot the eye of the golden fish through the reflection in the water, Draupadi got up and said, I will not marry Karan. Why did she say this? 3 reasons, 3 main reasons. She knew that Karan was a liar. He wanted to get boons from Parshuram. He went under disguise as a Brahmana to serve Parshuram so that Parshuram would teach him the art of warfare, how to use arms and all that. And one day, when Parshuram was lying on Karan's lap, an insect came and bit Karan and he started bleeding. The pain was excruciating, but because Karan was a Kshatriya, he could endure the pain. The smell of the blood woke Parshuram up. And he said, "You are not a Brahmana. A Brahmana would not be able to take such pain. You are a Kshatriya. You are a liar. I have this thing against Kshatriyas because Kshatriyas are terrible people and they caused even my father's death. And I have personally, as Parshuram, killed 21 generations of Kshatriyas. And now you dare cheat me, lie to me that you are a Brahmana so that you can get this art of warfare which I have taught you. I curse you, Karan, that the very time that you need the mantras to do your battle, that is the very time you will forget the mantras. So good luck to you." So that curse was given by Parshuram on Karan. And Draupadi knew that Karan was a person who could not be trusted because he even lied to his guru. Second thing, she also remembered that her father defeated Karan and the Kauvaras. They were no match to his father. So why should I now get married to a loser? Number 1, you are a liar. Number 2, you are a loser. Number 3, you were part of the plot that burnt the Pandavas in the Lakshagraha. You were part of it. You are a murderer. How can I marry you? You have 3 terrible qualities. A liar, number 1. Number 2, you are a loser. Number 3, you are a murderer. So don't you even dare try to think that you can marry me. So she basically scolded Karan inside out, okay? Then, to continue the Swayamvar, it appeared as though nobody is going to win the competition. So it looked like, okay, we have to have another Swayamvar, another time, another year in the future. Then Arjun woke up. He got up. And everybody said, what can this Brahmana do? He's not even a Kshatriya. Maybe he doesn't even know how to use a bow and arrow. So all the kings thought how a weak-looking Brahmana could achieve the feat that even the big, powerful kings could not. But Arjun took the permission. He asked Drishtadyumna. He said, "This is your sister, Swayamvar. Can I have, please, your permission to take part in this competition?" You see how humble he was. Okay, he asked the brother, "Can I please have permission to take part in this competition?" Then, of course, Drishtadyumna said, he looked at his sister, the sister nodded. So then Arjun walked confidently towards the target. He strung the bow, he took the arrow, and he struck the target. Now, was Draupadi going to accept this poor Brahmana as her husband? Yes, she did. That's how great a person Draupadi was. She accepted a poor Brahmana as her husband, as she felt that at least the marriage will be to an honorable person. although she may have to live a life in material difficulty. That's how great Draupadi was. She wasn't interested in name and fame. Even this poor Brahmana, at least he's an honorable person, it's okay. Okay, so she chose him as the husband. So now Arjun has Draupadi with him, and Drishtadyumna was curious. Who is this Brahmana? Where has he come from? So after Arjun left with Draupadi back to the hut they were living in, he called out. This was again a famous story, okay? He called out to his mother who came to see what he had brought. Kunti replied that whatever it was, it had to be shared with his brothers. When Kunti realized that it was a bride, Kunti was very unhappy with what she said. As a custom, the Pandavas would have to obey every word that the mother had said. Draupadi would have to become the wife of all 5 brothers. So then Draupadi said, I take back what I said. Okay? You don't have to listen to what I said. I made a mistake. So I'm taking back what I said just now. Just then, of course, Krishna always appears as though by chance, but everything is planned. Just then, because remember, Krishna was also at the Swayamvara with Balaram. So then Krishna appeared at the hut and he told Kunti, in Draupadi's previous birth, she had asked Lord Shiva for a husband with many good qualities. Lord Shiva cautioned her, told her, what you are asking is not in one person, one man, not possible. But she insisted, no, I want all these qualities, such that Lord Shiva gave her a boon that now this will reside in different husbands. But Draupadi insisted, I want all these boons. So Lord Shiva's boon resulted in the qualities now she sought and are now present in the 5 Pandava brothers. On hearing this, Kunti felt satisfied since it was Lord Shiva's actually blessings for Draupadi that Draupadi would now become the wife of all her sons. Okay? What were the qualities that Draupadi was seeking? She wanted a very just person, a fair person, which was represented by Yudhishthira and his wisdom. So the wisdom and a just person, Yudhishthira. Second, she wanted a very powerful husband, Bhima, for his strength that exceeded even the strength of 1,000 elephants put together. Okay? Then she wanted a hero, a valiant Arjun for his courage and knowledge of the battlefield. So now that was in Arjun. And she wanted someone who was exceedingly handsome. That was Nakul. And someone who was very loving, Sahadev. So now the 5 qualities are in the 5 Pandavas and they now become her husbands. Okay? As a result of Lord Shiva's boon. So now Drishtadyumna is observing all this in secret. Remember, he followed Arjun. He was curious as to who the Brahmana gentleman was. Drishtadyumna, who had followed them, he witnessed all this. He went back to his father and he said, Papa, I have good news for you. The brave Brahmana is actually not a Brahmana. He's none other than who you were hoping your daughter to get married to. He's Arjun. Okay? It is Arjun who married Draupadi and your wish has come true. Of course, King Draupadi was delighted to hear this. But then Drishtadyumna told him the other part of the story. Okay? She is now married to the entire Pandava boys. Okay? He was sad because this was against the law. How can one woman get married to 5 men? It's against the law. And again, providence, Vyasadeva appears at the kingdom of Draupadi, and he gives advice to Draupadi. He told him, though such a marriage is not permitted in the scriptures, this particular marriage is the result of a boon by Lord Shiva himself. So it is not against the law. The law is created by man, but it is God that governs us. And God is the one, the Lord Shiva himself, who gave this blessing on your daughter. Okay, so it is above the law. Satisfied, Draupadi arranged then for a wedding reception. A very grand wedding reception was held in the palace. The Pandavas were invited, and the wedding between the Pandavas and Draupadi was performed with great splendor. Okay. So now, before we proceed on a few more slides, just a few questions for you, just to jog your memory, okay? Just to make sure that everything that is important is remembered by you. If you recall, the Pandavas left Ekachakra, but why did they leave Ekachakra?
So Bhim had killed the demon and the king demon, and everybody would have come to know that they were the Pandavas because they were very strong. So they kind of left so that nobody comes to know that they are still alive.
Perfect answer. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, now I'm going to the next question. Either one of the others, please allow one of them to answer. Who advised the Pandavas to go to Panchala?
Guruji of Pandavas, Guruji.
Anji, who is that?
Vyasa.
Vyasadev. Very good. 100% correct. Well done. Okay, the third question. Did Draupadi have a choice of suitor in a Swayamvar, or was she forced to accept whoever won the competition?
She had a choice, Kabul.
Yes, she had a choice. Remember the word Swayam, by one own self. Okay? The first part of the word is telling you, you have a choice. So she had 100% choice. Even if the person was able to achieve the requirements of the competition, she could still choose whether to accept or not to accept. Okay, very good. Now, sorry, I've got the numbering a bit wrong, but the next question, what were among the reasons that Draupadi refused to allow Karan to participate in the Swayamvar? There are a few reasons. Can you remember any of them? Pardon?
He had three bad qualities. One is telling lies to Guru.
Yes.
He lost the war with King Drupad.
Very good. He lost the battle. One was he was a liar. Number three.
And then he was the Lakshagre fire. He was one of the participants to make the plot.
Very good. Murderer.
Murder.
Okay? Murderer. Powerful statements. Draupadi wasn't you see, Draupadi had too many good qualities and a very intelligent girl. Okay? Extremely intelligent, astute. She knew exactly what she wanted in her life. Okay? So it's a wonderful example of how much divine Shakti she had. Okay, Draupadi. Okay, now we continue. So now the Pandavas have a new alliance. Not only are they good friends with Lord Krishna in Dwarka, they are also now aligned with King Draupadi. So they have two kingdoms on their side. Okay? So the Pandavas alliance is growing. And of course, the story of the Swayamvar has reached Hastinapur. So Hastinapur and the Kauvaras are rattled. So with the marriage of the Pandavas to Draupadi, a very powerful alliance was built with the kingdom of Panchal. This also had the full support of Sri Krishna and the entire Yadavas. The Pandavas were now ready to face Duryodhan on the basis of strength. Okay? And Duryodhan was shocked to hear that the Pandavas were alive. He and his uncle Shakuni and Drishtadyumna and Karan, they had been celebrating for many years at how they were so successful in burning all the Pandavas in the Rakshagraha along with the mother, and now they are all alive. So they are shocked. Okay? Now, grandfather Bhishma, Drona, Guru, and Vidur, they went to see Dhritarashtra, okay, they went to see the king, and they advised him, look, the kingdom of Hastinapur was under the impression that the Pandavas had perished in the Lakshagraha some years ago, but they are well and alive. And the citizens are also aware of their being alive. They must be welcomed back to Hastinapur. You have no choice. You have to welcome them. Okay? And give them not only a welcome, a grand welcome. And declare openly, fortunately, Pandavas and their mother Kunti have not perished in the fire. You have to do it. You have no choice. Okay? And before we proceed, the meaning of the word Dhritarashtra. Okay? Dhrita means hold on. Rashtra means the kingdom. Dhritarashtra was a person who, although was blind, although he had an elder son, Duryodhan, who could have been made king. Because at that time, remember, for some years, they thought that the Pandavas had perished. He did not hand over his kingdom to his son. Although his son was clamoring, asking to become even a Yuvraj, he didn't even make Duryodhan a Yuvraj during the absence of the Pandavas. Why? Because he loved being a king. So although he was blind, although he was getting old, he could not see himself giving up the kingdom. He was one who held on to the kingdom till the very end. Okay? So the palace welcomes the Pandavas, but with unease. Okay? So Vidur was sent as the emissary to Panchal to invite the Pandavas back to Hastinapur. The Pandavas graciously accepted the invitation. They had full trust in their uncle Vidur. After all, it was Uncle Vidur who gave them the knowledge about their Lakshagraha and saved their lives. So they trusted him 100%. They graciously accepted the invitation, knowing that they were more than entitled to inherit the kingdom than the Kauvaras. Of course, the citizens of Hastinapur were so happy that their beloved princes were alive and they were coming back. After entering the kingdom, the Pandavas, they did dandavats, prostrated before Bhishma and Dhritarashtra, and they were received cordially. The coronation was done. Yuvraj, the crown prince. Yudhishthir was made the crown prince. And it was celebrated on that auspicious day that they returned to Hastinapur. Of course, the enmity between the Pandavas and the Kauvara boys was still there. So it was suggested that the kingdom be divided. Okay? There was an uneasy period of truce with Dhritarashtra still being the king and Yudhishthir being the Yuvraj. And the Pandavas also knew that Duryodhan and Shakuni were the ones who had tried to get them killed before. So Duryodhan was always complaining. Even previously he was complaining. Now his complaints never stopped. He said that he was more than entitled to the throne. Dhritarashtra then decided that this cannot continue. I am going to divide the kingdom into two, okay, and give half the kingdom to the Pandavas, and Hastinapur will remain with the Kauravas. Okay, so that now once the kingdom is divided half, harmony would prevail. Dhritarashtra then advised Yudhishthir to go to an area called Khandavrasht. It was actually barren land. It was deserted area, very rocky, no crops, nothing. So although in area, the size was the same, but it had nothing there. And that area was called Khandavrasht. And he told Yudhishthir, you can become king of Khandavrasht. It was barren land and the ruined capital of the ancestors. So Yudhishthir took advice from Krishna, and Krishna said, go for it, take Khandavrasht. I have full confidence in your abilities and your brother's abilities in converting Khandavrasht into a beautiful land for your people. So Yudhishthir agreed to it, and also on the basis that it would avoid future clashes between the Pandavas and the Kauravas. So if you look at today's map, where is Hastinapur and where is Khandavrasht, okay? So this is a sort of a map which you can use. So it's not too far away, okay? But in distance-wise, because they used to use horses and chariots, it took quite a while to get there. So today's reference of Hastinapur and Indraprasth. Hastinapur is close to where Meerut is in Uttar Pradesh or UP. Indraprasth. Khandavrasht became Indraprasth because it became a flourishing township, okay, state. Indraprasth is considered to have been the first significant settlement in the Delhi area, and it hosted a succession of kingdoms and giant civilizations. At some point, thousands of years ago, Indraprasth fell from grace. Either it was conquered or it was left abandoned, okay? And the fact that the Kauravas, then there's a deeper meaning to why the Kauravas retained the wealth of Hastinapur and the Pandavas having barren land. The Kauravas retained the prosperous portion of their homeland. The Pandavas received the barren land. It was symbolic of the mystic fact that the Pandavas, because of the difficulties they had gone through, they are well suited to evolve to Nivritti. Remember our class on Nivritti and Pravritti. Pravritti is the external focus, more on material attainment. Whereas Nivritti is something where you contemplate internally, and then once you have done enough contemplation, then you can engage in Pravritti as well. So the Pandavas were well suited for this Nivritti. Look at what you have and what you don't have and make the best of it. Even if I have barren land, how can I make it better? So they were well suited for that. The Kauravas had always lived in the laps of luxury. They had no clue of how to make something better because they have always lived in the laps of luxury. Okay? So for them, Pravritti was the easier way out. So for us, when a devotee begins to explore through Nivritti, internal contemplation, with proper focus, it may feel like we are treading upon barren land because it is so easy to get trapped by Maya, wealth, position, fame. Very easy to get trapped by this. But when then somebody suggests, wealth, name, fame, all this is temporary. Why don't you think about what is permanent? your spiritual journey. It might feel in the beginning like barren land. But spirituality, that is too difficult. How am I supposed to do all this? I need a teacher. I need the proper scriptures. I need a proper practice. It's very difficult. So a lot of work has to be done for us in our journey of nivritti to make Kandaprasht, Indraprasht. That's also our journey. Using nivritti to convert our own Kandaprasht to Indraprasht. With the right self-effort, the grace of the Lord. And here, Lord Krishna blessed them. You will be successful. The Antakarana, which is our manas, buddhi, chitta, ahamkar, will all become radiant and ripe for spiritual evolution. So that is a deeper meaning of how the Pandava brothers were now going to cultivate barren land to make it fertile so that everybody can live in peace and harmony. Okay? So that's the deeper meaning in this. That's the class for today. Any questions, please? All good? Okay, I thank you for being part of today's class. In 2 weeks' time, we will continue our journey on the what happens in Indraprasth. And this is also the conclusion of the first book of the Mahabharata, the Adi Parva. Because once we go to the discussions of Indraprasth, it's the second book, which is called the Sabha Parva. So today is a very important day for us. We have concluded some of the main takeaways from the Adi Parva, the first book of the Mahabharata, and I congratulate all of you for completing this journey. Let's do the Guru Vandana. Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha.
Om
Om Shri
Shri
Gurubhyo
Gurubhyo Namaha.
Namaha.
Om Namo Bhagavate Brahmanandaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Brahmanandaya.
Brahmanandaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya.
Om Namo
Om
Bhagavate
Namo
Shivanandaya.
Bhagavate Shivanandaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Gurujis and Matajis, thank you for joining today's class. Jai Shri Krishna. Om Namah Shivaya.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Shri Krishna.
Thank you, Guruji. Jai
Thank
Thank you,
Shri
sir.
Krishna. Om Namah
you so much.
Shivaya.
Thank you.